Yo, what's up? None other than Mr. Darnell Jordan of S Town Productions. Welcome to another edition of Speak Everything into Existence. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Sorry for the weird silence there. I thought I had stuff set up. So, again, this is a couple of the things I'm working with. Um, I want to kind of keep updated with some people right now. If you guys don't know, I'm currently on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and I'm doing a little bit of a stream on a behind the scenes way. Right now on Instagram. I'm gonna try to find a way I could do Instagram a little bit better, so I don't have to do it this way. But right now it's working, so I'm not gonna do anything to try to change that. So hopefully we can kind of keep this going. But um, I want to kind of piggyback off and kind of keep some of the people updated and kind of my thought process for the people that was on Facebook and stuff that haven't heard about this. For those of y'all who saw my video the other day, um, I had made the decision to take a break for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, depending on how I was feeling from just doing music. I thought it was the best choice for me right now. Excuse me. Um, I felt like it was the best choice for me right now to really just kind of reset everything to kind of get myself in the right space, mentally, emotionally, physically, to kind of like being able to come back into the space of music again with the right mindset. So, what I had thought about this something that's literally that just clicked earlier was really my thought process about what I'm doing today was how can I utilize this time wisely while I am trying to go on my my own personal hiatus from just trying to production so I can do better with doing it. And I thought part of doing better was to kind of have discussions like we're having today, which is talk about mental practice. So, for those of you who have heard or have seen some of my last couple episodes that Speak Everything into Existence, has really been based a lot about the high discussion on Black Lives Matter and social injustice and how everybody needs to be held accountable and how we'll be able to do better to speak everything into existence that we want to and invest, involve, and evolve ourselves. So, I think this is one practice that I think this is one thing that I think, I'm speaking to majority of black folks that are in my community that kind of relate to what I'm speaking about here. Um, I think we get to this point in the black community where we talk a lot about we gotta be tough. He's like, you stop acting like this, stop acting like that, this, that, and the third. Where they're telling, I feel like we have this practice where people are telling us that we have to have this certain amount of mental strength and just deal with stuff and work with it and things like that. But I don't think we take enough time to actually talk about how necessarily to do that. We just talk about we just need to do it, but I don't think we instill the right practices as the black community or a lot of communities that neglect mental health and think that, oh, we just need to go to God or whatever, just read your Bible. And I think just like reading something and things like that, as like it only goes so far. Like, I don't think we really instill like continuous mental practices that we talk about for ourselves? Like, do we talk about like, let's, how do we deal with like deep breathing? How do we talk about, how we do things that like some of these coaches are, some of these like mental health coaches, counselors, things like that, where they talk about, um, taking deep breaths. Take a section of the day where you take time to like show appreciation for yourself. Take time to show appreciation for others. Like, I don't think we have that type of dialogue. So I want to take this time right now, for those of y'all who are watching right now, I want to have an open dialogue with people. I want to hear people's thoughts and opinions about this, because, in my opinion, this is a very important topic that we're discussing here about how to really, really like practice. Like, what are some of the things that we need to do? Um, What are some of the things that we need to do to talk about when we talk about these things about, bettering ourselves and um, instilling good. So we talk about, mental health, but we haven't really talked about instilling good mental practices. How do we instill good mental practices? What are some mental practices that we should do on a daily, that we don't excuse me, that we don't really,
that we need to do
sorry, that we don't discuss? I think that's the problem here, is that we say, um, we say that, we need to go to therapy, we need to do things like that. I was like, okay, that's one thing. Like, you have a session once every week, but like, what are some of the things that we need to? What are some of the things that we need to do about, have a daily practice for, right? Um, are there things like really instill on taking a journal to talk about your day, taking a time to talk about the good parts of your day. Um, take a part of your take part of your day where you start where you. I think like one for an example is like for those of y'all who like to write stuff down, or stuff like what I'm doing, or something like a journal of some sort where you log in audio wise, or writing down a piece of paper or typing it down, where I think about like kind of like how Rev Run used to have his show, and he was always used to start his show with him and he used to always start the show off. Oh, that's paint. Okay. He used to always start the show off with him and in the bathtub, and he's like typing on his phone and just like starting his log out that way. Is that something that could be something that we do, right? Is it something where we talk about like for an example, um, do we get into like do we start talking about a journal, right? For me, like for an example, say that I do this. I tried to start doing this. It didn't really work well for me, but I think this kind of dialogue helps. I think doing more audio based helps, and just kind of log in your day, right? And we should take a couple minutes of a time to talk about the good things that came through your day. I think there's a good practice where you need to talk about the things that you need to the things that you feel like there's on your mind that you need to have that release for, right? I think there's a lot of like emotion that comes in that you need to release in some way, and I think writing it down helps, right? I feel this way because of this, right? And then um, start like redirecting that thing, and say, okay, I know why I feel this way. How can we come up with the practices of instilling it, right? So instead of doing um, temporary fixes, let's find an alternative that kind of changed the landscape of it, right? So mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, um, It all comes into one. So for me, like, I'll try to go to set an example. Um, Health, as far as like physical health starting off, can really become the domino effect of your other health benefits, right? Your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, right? So for me, one of my vices, I feel like I try to revert to some comfort food, right? I'm always trying to revert to comfort food, and I feel like it always becomes like something that feels good at the moment, but then like it sticks to your gut. You feel like crap. You don't want to move, right? But it's that temporary satisfaction that you get for a moment because you feel like you don't have anything else, right? So you're just like, oh well, at least I have this, right? So it's like it's the cop out because it's like you want that like hard hitting temporary fix, but then like the longevity after, like you feel the regret like right after, but you want that satisfaction. So, like for me, I decided to say, okay, I eat a lot of. I eat a lot of like snacks. I eat a lot of chips. I eat a lot of like chicken and things like that. I decided to, okay, I eat a lot of stuff that sticks to my gut a lot. Let's find some ways that we can cleanse that, right? Let's try to cleanse the body first. I feel like cleansing the body helps better cleanse the mind because you're not feeling like you're overbearing yourself. So, what I started doing was, um, trying to do more foods that were were fulfilling for me, but didn't feel like I had like a whole buffet after having it, right? So I tried to cut down like this week. I tried to do like cutting down on certain things for my meals. So like instead of trying to eat a bunch of chips or like pork rinds and things like that, it made me feel like crap. I decided, okay, let's try instead of reverting to like sugary peanut butter with a bunch of extra food and stuff like that. Let's try organic peanut butter, low carb, low sugar. Have it with apples instead of chips, right? Have have that. Have one meal, dedicate that. Replace all your sugary drinks with water. I replace my regular milk with oat milk. I try to use it as a daily driver. I usually used oat milk or almond milk or any type of milk like that. I use as just for a smoothie, but I try to expand that practice, right? So I tried it. So for me, it's like every morning I have a blueberry banana peanut smoothie. So the way it gets done, it's literally one banana, one cup of blueberries, um, I would say a quarter cup of peanuts, and then like one and a quarter. Or sorry, I would say maybe a half to 2/3 cups of oat milk, blend it. That's my startup for the day, right? Get my nutrients from my antioxidants from the blueberries and like some fiber stuff, and my peanuts is part of my protein. That at least helps me get started with the day. I don't feel like I have to have a full course meal every morning of bacon and pancakes and sugary cereal. Like I try to cleanse it from there, and then what I try to do after that is like, okay, um, I try to reduce sugar, reduce soda, reduce lemonade, things like that, and I try to replace it with just water. So I'll try to cleanse things with water instead. So that's one practice to do from a physical standpoint, right? Mental, again, we talked about logging, like logging in a journal, logging audio book, things like that. I try to do that as a practice, um, and then like take some time to do like some sort of meditative practice, whether that's a sense of prayer with God, or just like doing like a whole thing. It's like you're in tune with yourself. Playing music that soothes you, puts you in the right set, and put you in a deep thinking, right? And like figure out those appreciations. Find people that you surround with. Tell them how much you appreciate them, and like have I think having somebody with you helps with that practice, because then like somebody that has that same mindset that you can like feel like the energy kind of vibe off of. It helps you redirect your focus to where like it turns you away a little bit from from some people that have like from their trauma and their self doubt if you put your energy towards a different direction from what you're used to. So that's one way of trying to practice that, right? So just kind of keep instilling that mentality of, okay, I got to keep going with I got to keep going with this practice because it feels good. Um, but like one thing I always looked at is like, don't, for me it was like, don't force feed the practice. That's one thing that was harsh on me. I think after like the end of my run last year, I mean from like January up until August, like I just did a main focus of like, okay, I'm gonna focus on being mentally conscious. I'm gonna focus on like building up my spirit, building up my mentality, my emotions, and like put that energy towards doing yoga practice or going to the gym and feeling good afterwards, right? Feeling that appreciation. I feel great. I feel, I'm tired. I'm gonna rest. I took care of myself and try to take care of like eating good, feeling good, things like that. Where it lies in the problem though is um, when you when like the things are going awry and things don't go the way you want it to, and you take that break, and it's not because it's not the break itself when I say this, right? But like I think you break away from those things that happen, right? And then you try to play the catch up game, right? So I'm like, all right, I got to get back into this because this is what I did. Your mentality at that point is saying, all right, I got to get to this point at this time and this point at this time because I felt like I missed all that time I missed out on because I was feeling like I was worth this, unappreciated, things like that. It's like you have to naturally, huh? One sec. Yeah, the remote. Put it right next to you on the counter in the computer room. Where your phone is. Yeah. The remote? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. Um, where was I? Playing the Rush game. Jeez. Sorry, that startled me. Um, that was my father, y'all. Um, Practice on good mental health practice, right? And going into doing incremental um, progress. Do not rush yourself, right? I think that's the problem sometimes is I feel like we try to play the racing game when we're so far behind and play catch up. Play the tortoise. Do not play the hare in this race. You play the hare in this race, you're force feeding the practice, and you're not benefiting from the nutrients, the mental nutrients that you need to better yourself as a human being. You're just continuing to just pound it, right? So um you have to create a certain balance of saying, okay, these are the things that I'm feeling. These are the things I need to do to get better, and this is the pace that I need to go to get to that point, right? Settle in. So if you fall, don't feel like you got to jump right back into it just to get over it, right? So take those things on increments. Go one at a time. Pace yourself. Creating good practice and good pace makes for a longevity in your practice. I believe, because you want to create a sense of consistency. So if you take those times where you crash and fall, don't feel like you got to go all the way back and just try to jump right back into it where you did before, because it's not going to feel the same way because you got that thing that's holding on behind you that's causing a problem. So creating a consistent balance of saying, okay, what is the steps for me to get back to that point from here to point from A to B without feeling like I have to go 100 miles per hour, right? Take that pace, right? Take that pace. It's like running. don't run it like a race. Run it like a marathon, right? Pace yourself. Take your time. That was probably one of my problems when I tried to do. So here's a quick example. So I was trying to run about a month ago um, with my father for 2 weeks. And we did a total of 10 miles in the 2 weeks that we ran. Tried to do 2 miles a day. So we did 2 miles for 2 miles for 2 days. So we did 2 mile on Monday and Tuesday. We took Wednesday off. Thursday, Friday, took a day off. Right, and then we did one day after that, and then we couldn't do any. Sorry, and then we couldn't do anything afterwards because of graduation and things like that. But the way I was doing my running was I was doing a bunch of straight shots, sprints, and then when the curves came, I was pacing myself during the curves, and then I tried to sprint again, curve, sprint again. I ended up knowing that I didn't take into account that we were under quarantine. I didn't take account that I haven't been physically doing stuff in the last couple months. So that took a toll on me in the end run because afterwards my legs wouldn't lift itself. I didn't have any more lift in my legs, and I felt like I thought I damaged my knees. I literally felt like I could not jump because of all the weight from my upper body just doing this, pounding on my knees. So, and my dad told me this, like, you didn't pace yourself. And I thought, like, and I think what happened was I was trying to play the hair, and and the hair became an injury because, like, when they talk about strength and conditioning, that's what they mean by strength and conditioning is I like to pace myself in increments, right? Create a sense of consistency where the point where it's getting all right, it's getting boring. I don't feel like I'm developing anymore. Like I feel great, but I feel like I can push a little bit more at this point, right? Then I'll start creating those increments. But for me, it's like running wasn't really the great practice, so I needed to create a hair. What was best for me was last year I did, and obviously it's different now because we're under quarantine and with restrictions with the gym. But I used to go to the gym all the time. I had a practice where I would do 30 minutes on the elliptical or 30 minutes on like the Stairmaster or something like that, and then I would spend the last 30 minutes or 30 minutes to an hour practicing strength weights or strength practice, push-ups, crunches, lifting weights for shoulders. So I'll do one day upper body, one day abs, one day legs, right? So I try to keep that practice on a consistent basis. Ate well, did the practice for that, right? I was still feeling great. But I did it at my own pace where I didn't feel like I was over pushing myself. You could push yourself, but don't ever over push yourself, right? I know I'm talking about like a lot of physicality stuff, but that transitions to your mentality too, because what I think we do is we try to do the whole cold turkey method mentally, right? We try to look for like, all right, we're just gonna stop doing this, and then things. It's like I think you need to. I think it's good to have practice of doing less of what you do, and then clean the slate, right? So for me, it was like, okay, let's redirect some of this where I still feel fulfilled what I need, rather than not feel like I'm stuck in a place, right? So um so for me, it's like, okay, usually when I feel like crap, I feel like I need to be on the phone and things like that, or I feel like I'm trying to force myself to play music all the time, right? Try to sense that creativity. It's not fulfilling the way it was. So I said, like, let's take a break, and then let's put that energy towards somewhere else. So for me, it might be like, okay, maybe I'll redirect my practice and say, Maybe I'll play a couple chords I haven't played before. Start doing tutorials, practice those things, refresh the mind a little bit, right? Talk with people who want to create that balance, right? Rather than start complaining about the same things that you had have imbalance or over and over again. Let's start create a cleansing mentality, right? Um, how do we instill those practices? That's one way of doing the practice, right? Um, Self appreciation, self love. I think we just use that as a word. We don't really talk about what exactly do you do as self love, and self care. Whether that's like taking a bubble bath instead of a shower, um, creating good um, feeling of energy throughout the room that you feel like if you have that type of mental um, if you have that type of mentality in spirit and health. Like for me, like I use and I think I need to start doing this more. So, and by the way, for some of y'all who do this, I'm gonna probably hit y'all up soon. Um, I started using essential oils in the diffuser throughout the night to kind of, all right, I'm gonna cleanse my body a little bit. To kind of like the scents that I'll have will give me a deeper sleep. Instead of having like a harsh alarm on in the morning that just wakes me up, I try to play like a certain song of music that soothes me when I get up in the morning. I used to do like yoga. They used to get me up like a half hour before I wake up to kind of ease my way into the day, right? Rather than feel like it's just this harsh rush, and then you feel like crap because it's like the first thing that goes into your brain is like harshness, right? And for some people, that's hard for people to endure because it's just like it's like somebody it's kind of like a sense of somebody screaming at your ear. So instead of doing that, let's pace ourselves, right? Let's do like soothing music. I use like Crumbin. I think the last couple of nights where I've just like, all right, something that makes me feel good, that just like kind of warms me up into the day, and then I get ready for the day. Um, I don't play the rushing game. I take a lot of appreciation for my job right now because I'm able to kind of ease into the day at work, rather than feel like, all right, I got to get right into it and do 50 different things at once. Like I can sit down, breathe a little bit, talk with my coworker, we go and check our emails, plan out what we're gonna do for the day. Then we start getting ready for the task. So that's a good like 15, 20 minutes where we start like warming up, getting into things. I'm checking rooms throughout the day just to make sure everything's all right. We log it out. We feel like what we got to do, and then we can start creating a good momentum, right? A consistent momentum where we're not, um, we're rushing to stop. I think we live in this like hurry up and wait mentality where it's like we try to do everything at once and then get it done and over with. You have to pace yourself, all right? You have to pace yourself. And I think we don't take that um, we don't take that into account, and I feel like we need to take that more into account more. And I think again, developing those practices will help with that. So, um, you know, take some time to talk with God or talk with yourself. Um, let yourself know that hey, I'm feeling like this, and it's okay to feel that way. Stop. For people, people in these religions, stop trying to guilt trip people into feeling like they need to feel a certain way. Like for me, it's like, look, man, I got a lot of I love God. I got a lot of appreciation for God. But there's times where I feel down, and sometimes I got to tell him that, like, hey, I'm you know I got a lot of praise and love for you, but I'm struggling on things right now, and I need your help right now. I think about all the times where I go and talk with my I used to go to um or I used to go see my grandmother maybe like once every month. Um, at the cemetery. God rest her soul. She was, um, and I just say, here's my sense of cleanse. want to just talk to you, create that create that dialogue, create that sense of just trying to mentally prepare yourself in the moment where you don't feel like you have to force yourself all the time. And for me, that was part of the deal. For me, was like, hey, I'm struggling. I'm gonna get through it. Um, I got to get through this, but I also want you to know that it's a struggle, and I'm gonna go through these growing pains. And sometimes you got to tell yourself it's okay to go through those growing pains, um, and it's okay to actually ease yourself into it. Do not play the hare in the race. Play the tortoise in a marathon. All right. Um, but I thought this was I thought this was just a way of kind of redirecting some of my practice to kind of ease back in out of my woes of music, and being able to redirect into it and just like put myself in a different perspective and like, okay, how can I share my time? This is part of it for me, talking about this with you guys, um, and trying to keep instilling that. So that's what I mean by mental practice. So what I want y'all to do today and throughout the week is take some time and talk about what do you think best suits you in creating better practices for yourself to become the better person that you want to be, right? Is that writing in a journal? Is that writing in a song that makes you feel good to create that movement, right? For me, it's like I wanna be able to. My goal right now is I want to be able to feel that same in-depth feeling that I did when I made music the first time when I was in college, right? And I want to be able to create that practice still. So try that. So um, look at creating, continuing to create those practices. Ease into things. Take your time. Pace yourself. Um, and you know, write in a journal. Write a song. Do a practice. Do push-ups in the morning. Cleanse yourself. Eat better foods. Things like that. Create those good, healthy habits. That will help you in the better mentality aspect of it all. So, um, that's all I got for tonight, guys. Thank y'all again for watching, for Speak Everything into Existence. Um, Again, you can always check out all of my stuff on the banners as well. All my social media, all my music stuff, mainlink.co/ at DJS Time Productions for all of my media. Um, Again, always continue to invest, involve, and evolve yourself each and every day. So, um, yeah. So keep creating those practices. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Speak everything into existence. Peace and love. Deuces.